A 31-year-old junior doctor, she was raped, she was murdered. If you go through her autopsy, it's heinous to say the least. It sent shockwaves across the country. National anger mounts with doctors taking to the streets pan-India to demand justice in the brutal killings of this young girl with her life ahead of her. She was a doctor, a junior doctor at the R.G. Kar Medical College, which is a government-owned college. While the CBI has now taken over the probe at the orders of the Kolkata High Court, renowned filmmaker Aparna Sen too joined the protest in Bengal, demanding adequate security for doctors in hospitals, while also questioning why the cops mishandled the probe in its initial stages. Here's more.
Doctors on the road demanding justice for the 31-year-old PG trainee raped and murdered inside a Kolkata hospital. The Calcutta High Court has transferred the investigation in the case to the CBI. The court has directed the police to hand over the CCTV footage and statements collected so far to the central agency. It has also directed Dr. Sandeep Ghosh, the former principal of R.G. Kar Hospital, to go on indefinite leave. The court questioned the Mamata Banerjee government's decision to appoint Dr. Ghosh as principal at another medical college.
हम चाहते हैं इमीडिएटली जैसे भी हो प्रमाण एटलीस्ट इमीडिएट जुडिशियल इंक्वायरी करके इसका एडिक्वेट प्रूफ लेके एक्यूज को पकड़ा जाए एंड एक्जम्परी पनिशमेंट दे जाए.
More gory details of the crime have emerged from the autopsy report. The post-mortem indicates that the victim was killed by throttling and smothering. Report says that genital torture caused injuries in private parts of the victim. A hair clip was found near her vagina. The report says victim's mouth and throat were constantly pressed to prevent her from screaming. There were severe wounds on the victim's stomach, legs, lips and neck. There was severe bleeding from the eyes and mouth of the victim. The autopsy also mentions deep nail marks on the body and the presence of a broken spectacle and jeans worn by the victim near the body. India Today has exclusively accessed details of the confession allegedly made by the civic volunteer. Sanjay Roy, the prime suspect, during interrogation allegedly told the police to hang him for the crime. Sources say the accused is a trained boxer with a tendency of physical abuse. Roy has a history of domestic violence. He allegedly used to physically abuse his mother, sister and his wives. Sources say Roy was allegedly addicted to disturbing and violent pornography. He had allegedly got drunk and watched porn before committing the rape and murder. The probe has revealed that after committing the crime, Roy returned to the police barracks and slept there. The suspect, a civic volunteer hired by the cops, used to stay in the barracks. The horrific rape and murder has triggered massive nationwide outrage. With Suryagani Roy, Anirban and Rajesh Saha in Kolkata, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, the latest news break that is coming in right now. The Calcutta High Court has pulled up the Mamata Banerjee government as well. I just want to take our viewers through some of the observations of the High Court when it handed over the probe to the CBI. The administration wasn't with the victim or the kin. This is what the High Court has said. The High Court has also said the principal resigned and then immediately assigned to another post. Mind you, viewers, if you remember, the protesting doctors there wanted the principal to step down. He did in fact resign, only to be assigned a very similar post in another medical college. The High Court says no progress in probe even after lapse of 5 days. Possibility of evidence tampering, witness influence. These are the charges that have been made by the High Court. Strong observations there. The High Court also says on or after August the 9th, 2024, prima facie, there has been no significant progress as till date the state police have not arrested any other person who may be allegedly involved in the commission of the offence. The High Court further observes, when the deceased victim was a doctor working in the hospital, it is rather surprising as to why the principal hospital did not lodge a formal complaint. This, in our view, was a serious lapse giving room for suspicion. And viewers, if you remember and you recall, the parents of this young 31-year-old junior doctor were told initially that this was a case of suicide. Adding that to the observations made by the High Court, the question that we're going to be asking this evening. You know, incidents like this happen across the country. The testimony is on how a government actually responds to a situation like that. Joining me this evening is Mohammad Tausif Rahman from the TMC, is the TMC spokesperson, and the question we ask: has the West Bengal government's response to a heinous crime like this been adequate enough? Karuna Nandi, senior advocate, Supreme Court, also joins us. Pradeep Bhandari, BJP spokesperson, in the studio with me. Sanjay Sahai, former IPS officer. Dr. Sushmita Rai Choudhry, pulmonologist, is with us. We are going to cut across in just a short while also to the students who are still protesting. The students and the junior doctors, because at the RJ hospital, they didn't quite want a CBI probe. What they wanted was a judicial inquiry. They are still sticking by that. They want a judicial inquiry. They want the principal in question, who was assigned a different job. He stepped down, he resigned, but strangely was appointed as principal to a separate institute. They want him removed from there as well. Let's cut across right now to Sanjay Sahai, former IPS officer. Sanjay Sahai, you know, the kind of observations that are coming in from the Kolkata High Court, very, very strong, where they're actually saying there possibly was an attempt to cover up this crime, dress the crime scene as well.
See, first and foremost, your remark saying that most of these incidents happen all across the country is the response of the government, which is critical and on which you will be able to judge the government. I, for one, would add that most of these places, and I have been commenting on these cases for quite some time, most of these places, basically the crime is waiting to happen. So that is the biggest challenge. And if you get into the details of this particular hospital, it is 27 acres, 26 acres of the campus, wherein hardly more the CCTVs are there in desolate areas. Unauthorized entry is not taken care. There are people drunk who also enter. Most of the things which I am talking about is a very standard operating procedure in any of the hospitals or safe zone areas. The security evaluation, I don't think, has ever been done. There are no washroom for the doctors and a variety of other things which make this as a waiting place for incidents of this nature to happen. Having said that, and I don't know whether this will change or not, we have been talking about campuses and PGs for quite some time and nothing much has changed. Having talked about this, the way this case has been taken up, from a very, very professional point of view and a medico-legal evidence point of view, this is an open and shut case. And if it were to go in any other direction, that would be primarily because of the lack of professionalism of the police, or might be because the forensic evidence has not been gathered when it was supposed to be gathered. And the scathing attack which has come from High Court, that would be after the plea of the state government and the Advocate General pleading on behalf of the government. They have come up with this scathing remark. There is absolutely no reason to doubt even an iota of lack of truth in these scathing remarks. So currently, I think the investigative agency and the people who are responsible for handling this situation, I think they are in the dock. And I just hope and pray that CBI will do a good job. But the issue is that time lost in the initial days, initial hours of investigation, they weigh very heavily when you come to the judicial proceedings, where everything finally turns out technical in nature, legally technical in nature, and things will be decided only on that count and on nothing else.
You know, Mohammad Tausif, right. Make your point, sir. Make your point. Do you want to make another point?
Regarding this transparency and all that,
right.
I still not be able to fathom out or to understand why somebody who is in charge of the Calcutta police or the investigative agency and somebody in the bureaucratic hierarchy, might be a home secretary, or in the political hierarchy, the health minister or so, comes up and interacts with the protesting students. and also tell the media on a regular basis as to what is happening. It has also been alleged that there most likely would be more than one accused. So the Calcutta police is duty bound to tell you whether this is the complete story or something more to the story, or the investigation goes on endlessly.
All right, Mohammad Tausif, I'll bring you in, because many a times it's not that these crimes or the nature of this kind of crime has taken place only in West Bengal. It's happened in many states as well. But ultimately, Mohammad Tausif, you judge a government or a state government on how it's handled the situation, the handling of it. Now, that is where the biggest question mark comes in, Mohammad Tausif, because look at the observations, as scathing as they are, by the Kolkata High Court. They've handed it over, the case, to the CBI, and they've made it very clear that there was complete inefficiency by the Kolkata police in investigating the case. They've spoken of the principal who was removed and then reinstated hours after that by your government, when at least the junior doctors who are still protesting at the Arjikar Medical College, which is a government-owned college, wanted him removed completely.
Good evening, everyone. Ma'am, we are not above the law, and the Honorable High Court has ordered something and we have to obey that. But, at the same time, it's a bit unfair. I don't understand on what ground, people are alleging that the state is trying to delay and dilute the matter. Neither the victim parents nor the protesters have stated that there was a delay in recording FIR or whatsoever. Beside the prime suspect was nabbed within 24 hours. It is completely wrong to say that the state is defending any individual. This is the same reason why multiple officials have been removed by the state itself, because laxity and indifference has no place in Bengal. We have said this before also, and we are saying this again. Our only aim is for a speedy trial justice for the victim.
Mohammad Tausif, I apologize, I'm coming in. I usually never do that, but allow me this rebuttal, because you says nobody has said it. The High Court has said it, and I can quote the High Court. One more aspect which is very disturbing is the case of unnatural death that has been registered with the Tala police station in this case. It is submitted that under normal circumstances, a case of unnatural death is registered when there is no complaint. When the deceased victim was a doctor working in a hospital, it is rather surprising as to why the principal or the hospital, which is a government-run hospital, did not lodge a formal complaint. It's been said by the High Court, Mr. Rahman.
Ma'am, absolutely. I'm not overjudging anything. I'm not going across anything. I totally agree with you. I totally respect the Honorable Court as well, whatever they have said. And the main agenda is to bring the culprit, behind the bars, and we appeal for the death penalty. We are with the students. We are with the victim's family from day one, ma'am. There is nothing that we are running behind. The Honorable Court has decided to hand over the case to the CBI. You really think that the West Bengal government is egoistic, or we have any problem not to give it to CBI? The only reason we were having a little bit of faith problem with the CBI, looking at the West Bengal case, the CBI has been always biased, especially with the West Bengal people and all the cases. Otherwise, we are very happy. This case is open. We just wanted justice. Anyone can come forward.
Allow me, Mr. Rahman, allow me another rebuttal. You say that you are with the protesters. What is it that the protesters are demanding? One of the points is that Dr. Sandeep Ghosh, who was the principal of this college, hospital, be removed. And be removed from where he was reinstated. Someone who ran an institute as shoddily, where he tried to cover up the crime by saying it was a suicide. You appoint him hours at another medical institute where the students are sitting there demanding that he be taken away. Who is now the new appointee of a principal of the Arjikar Medical College? She is Dr. Suritra Paul, allow me, who is the OSD of the West Bengal Health Minister.
And we do understand this whole principal thing, this whole superintendent thing, and there was a call at 5 a.m. which made a biggest mistake by saying and quoting it that ye to suicide tha. We do understand, ma'am. Nothing has been taken, back foot. We have
why
seen
was
what
the
is
principal
happening.
reappointed, sir? If you understand and if the government understands, why reappoint the principal?
Ma'am, see, now if you see the whole agenda and the whole responsibility was under the principal bench, it's not true as well. We wanted to give some kind of benefit of doubt to the principal, but again,
even before the case concludes,
any individual whosoever, whether it's an inside job or whatsoever, will not be spared at all. This is what the state government is saying from day one. We have nothing to hide. I mean, we just want to express our feeling. I mean, this
Mohammad
is not coming
Tausif,
from a
you have
spokesperson of a
nothing to
government.
hide is what you're saying.
It's
But
not,
just
there's
hear
nothing
the
to hide.
protesters.
Ma'am, the demands coming from the student about their safety is our first priority. And the center has planned, program has been sanctioned. But not to forget, such security labs are at pan-India level. If you see the protest,
Sir,
pan-India level, I mean, these complaints are coming from each and every hospital. This is not just...
sir,
just
you're
about
right.
Calcutta.
Complaints are coming from each and every hospital, but that nowhere does absolve the TMC government in West Bengal of the handling of the situation at hand, sir. And you yourself sat here and admitted to 3 of those lapses, saying you understand them. All right, allow me to move on. Please now allow me to move on, sir. Let me open up the panel. Pradeep Bhandari, BJP spokespersons with me. Pradeep Bhandari, why should we not say that the BJP is trying to milk a tragic situation because you're asking for the Chief Minister to step down? Under that accord, then the Chief Minister of UP should have stepped down in Hathras, in Prayagraj, in Unnao.
Preeti, thank you so much for having me. Preeti, the Mamata Banerjee as the police minister, as the health minister, as the home minister and the chief minister of Bengal and her administration, I question the intent of the entire cover-up operation which is in case in point in Bengal. Now, let me go ahead and say what the Calcutta High Court has said. Now, the Calcutta High Court goes ahead and says, and I quote the Calcutta High Court, the administration was not with the victim or her family. The principal has not even given a statement. Point number 2, the Calcutta High Court says that the principal should have been the first person from whom statement should have been recorded. So Mamata Banerjee goes ahead and makes a statement in the public domain that we will take care of the case till Sunday and after that we could hand over the case to the CBI. But what was the intent of doing so is what your previous panelist had said, that the initial golden period investigation is extremely critical and the idea and the intention was to tamper with the evidence. This is not what I am saying. This is also what the victims believe, and I quote the Chief Justice of Calcutta High Court, without significant progress in the investigation, we would be well justified in accepting the prayers by the victims' parents that the evidence would be destroyed. So the accused who's caught and who's behind bars, he may not be the prime accused who would be responsible in this rape and murder. So point number 1 is, who was Mamata Banerjee and the administration intending to cover up till Sunday where they did not want to give the case to the CBI? Point number 1. Point number 2, I did not interrupt. You spoke for 5 minutes. I did not interrupt. That is point number 1. Point number 2, please note this, what the Calcutta High Court said, which you rightly pointed out, that a case of unnatural death was registered. When it is submitted that such cases are registered when there is no complaint. Here you had the victim, but the intention of the state government was not to register a complaint of the victim in the first moment. It was in fact to bracket as a case of suicide. In fact, media reports suggested that the police officials called the victim to take some amount of money and end the case. So I question who is that prime accused that Trinamool Congress Mamata Banerjee is trying to hide. And let me show you a pattern. What happened in the case of Sandesh Kali? The Bengal government went against the decision of the Calcutta High Court to the Supreme Court. Okay. What did Honorable Justice B.R. Gavai said? You now, don't do anything for months and you could arrest a person then after I would come days. My question is, we've done multiple debates on Hathras. We can do another show on Hathras, but we can't even spare 40 minutes or 45 minutes to the Bengal's Betty and these people trying to shift the goalpost. I'm talking about Bengal and I'm talking about the grotesque inhumanity which is happening.
Okay, 1 second, everyone calm down. Let's go one by one. Let's go one by one.
I did not interrupt anyone.
Sir, I'm the moderator. Please allow me. Number 1, Mr. Rahman, I'll come back to you. You'll get equal time. No point interrupting. Nobody can hear anyone. But Pradeep Bhandari, you made those points which were well elucidated earlier on what the High Court said. Number 1 is what the charge that the BJP is making, that the CM should step down. On the same benchmark, then the CMs of the state of UP should have stepped down, which they didn't. If you are quoting scathing observations by the High Court in this, there are scathing observations by the Supreme Court in what happened in Hathras, right? So it's similar in a lot of ways. To ask for a chief minister to step down, why it should not
because
be deemed as playing
intent
politics.
in the objective in none of the other cases was where the Chief Minister personally was involved in a cover-up. Here the Chief Minister personally and her entire administration is involved in a cover-up operation. And let me throw you a pattern. What happened in the case on the case of Park Street? Mamta Banerjee called the entire incident as a fabricated incident. What happened in the case of Sandesh Khali? She said that nothing happened. In all of these cases went to the Honorable Calcutta High Court. In all these cases, the Honorable Calcutta High Court had to step down, and then the Supreme Court upheld the decisions of the Calcutta High Court.
I'd like to get to Mr. Rahman, I'll come back to you. Hold your horses.
This is not fair, ma'am. This is not fair. You know, I mean, you can't do whataboutery today. It's a very sensitive issue. We are talking about, we have lost a daughter. If you are talking about
let's go one by one. 1 second. Let's just go one by one.
Talk about Bhushan as well.
Sir, you've spoken. I'm timing you.
Your sitting MP was sexually. Your sitting MP was under the demand of sexual harassment by the wrestlers. You know, you did nothing. You were sleeping that time. Your Prime Minister, your Chief Minister, your MP, your MLAs were laughing on the wrestlers and the whole federation.
No, okay, this is what about... No, sir, I want to talk about
I'm there to talk and answer.
Mr. Rahman, allow me now to get in. Allow me to get in other panelists. What's not fair, sir? I'm sorry, you're on the hot seat. Please, you've got to feel the heat.
No, it's not about hot seat, ma'am. It's about justice.
Okay,
we are working on the justice.
Sir, you've been questioned on the same.
If you would be caring about justice, you would have completely not promoted the principle.
Just because you're in the studio, it doesn't make...
No, he's speaking on and on and not answering the question.
I'm going to go to the other panelists because I would reckon for the next time it's best that we don't have a guest in the studio then. Let's not talk over each other. I just want to go to Dr. Sushmita Roy Choudhry, pulmonologist. Dr. Choudhry, how do you look at the entire situation? Do you see it as being mishandled?
Look, Preeti, I am a doctor who graduated from Kolkata. Kolkata to me is everything. And when I graduated, and even after me, all those people who graduated, we know that Kolkata is the safest city for women. And trust me, we have worked days, months, weeks, years without feeling any fear whatsoever. Hospitals are like our second home. And that is the reason why Kolkata is one place where differentiation between girls and boys is not made in most cases. And that is why we have never felt fear in our city, even if we were returning at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, in spite of all this happening in many other cities in our country. Therefore, this has come as a major shock, even more so because most of us are from middle-class families and we have all trained in government hospitals. And this is next to impossible to even think that somebody who was in a home, away from home, inside their premises, if things happen, people can have problems with each other, things can happen between people outside, but inside the premises of a place which is where you're serving, you haven't even slept till 2 o'clock at night, and you're so brutally murdered, that comes as a major shock. And why does it come as a major shock? Because it has never happened, and we as doctors have never believed that something like this could happen in a place where we work. Number one, where's the safety? Not just women, even men. Where's the safety in a job that we are doing inside the premises that is a home away from home and in a city that we absolutely love to bits? And number two, we want future generations to come to our city, work, good students to come. And that can only happen if this case is treated properly, if the girl gets proper justice. When something happens in a school, what do? You go to your class teacher and then you go to the principal and you want them to deal with it fairly. And that's all that we are asking for. There is no politics involved in any of the doctors' demands that is happening. And that is what I am trying to represent here. That doctors are very simple people. Most of us come from middle-class families, and we want security and justice for this sister of ours who was murdered so brutally.
Ma'am, thank you for putting out your emotions there. One might say that the state of West Bengal is one of the lowest where the crime against women is concerned, according to NCRB data. But that doesn't take away from the fact, viewers, of the mishandling of this one particular case, which has completely left everyone shocked. Karuna Nandi, appreciate the patience bringing you in. Is it time now, once again, to relook for a larger framework, a law in place where the safety of our doctors come into question?
You know, what Dr. Roy Choudhry was saying is absolutely spot on. I am ethnically Bengali, even though I was born and raised in Delhi. And Bengal has a very strong history of feminism and safety and freedom, and more importantly, freedom for women. So this case is that much more shocking. And the fact, and let's focus on the particular facts of this case, the fact that this man could have had such a history of violence that never got adjudicated on, that he never got caught for, and he was close to the police, raises some really shocking questions. The fact that he beat his mother, his sister, his wife, and there was never any justice. And I think that we should start asking ourselves now, like, are we going to make a separate law for doctors, a separate law for lawyers, a separate law for women who are walking on the street? Or are we really going to take some root and branch reform efforts? But, I'd like to ask my friends from the TMC and the BJP, what is it that they do except for asking for, what is it their governments do except for asking for the penalty and focusing on PR on particular cases and asking, and saying that, okay, we'll give it to the CBI because, okay, let's let this case out of our hands, let somebody else do it. Where is the freedom for women being guaranteed? Here is a woman who comes off a 36-hour shift and she's napping in the seminar room. And this level of brutality and murder happens by a man who's associated with the police and has committed all sorts of violence prior to this. So there is this line of women before her, and there will be a line of women after her, unless there is this root and branch reform. And do we know what needs to do? We have been talking about this for now decades. It's not rocket science. And yet we do not see either the TMC or the BJP allocating, making a plan. How do we enforce these criminal laws? How do we... we keep saying justice should come to this woman. Justice will not come to this woman. Why? Because she has been brutally raped and killed. Arresting this man here and getting the gang rapists and trying them, even if it's a quick trial, and I disagree with the death penalty because I think it increases violent crime, but even if it's some strong punishment, even if it's a deterrent punishment, will this girl ever get justice? Obviously not. Will her parents ever get justice? Of course not. Will all the people who have worked with her in the hospital and suffer the fear get justice? No. So tomorrow, what I would like to see is, I would like to see a plan by the West Bengal government and, as importantly, by the center. To say, what are you doing to make sure that there is no violence against women?
What I'm going to do is, at this juncture, I'm going to just pause this debate just for a minute, because we're getting breaking news coming in where Vinesh Phogat's hearing is concerned with the CAS for a silver medal or a joint silver medal. Let's get in that latest news break coming in. And word coming in now that Vinesh Phogat's hearing has been deferred. Well, this is unprecedented because there was a deadline of 9:30 p.m., which was today. And now the latest that is coming in is that Vinesh's medal verdict has been deferred for the third time, the delay coming in. Now, Vinesh verdict delayed till the 16th of August. Now, this is unprecedented. Nikhil Naz is with me. He's going to take us through this news break. Nikhil, all eyes were transfixed, peeled at 9:30 p.m. I've been checking my phone every minute. The verdict now deferred. Do we know on what grounds? What happened?
No, Preeti, these are just initial details coming in, which we are breaking first on India Today. The press release is yet to come, but I can confirm that the verdict has been deferred till the 16th. That's 3 more days. What are the grounds for that? We are not 100% sure at the moment, but what I can see at the moment, and this is something that had happened earlier as well, there have been certain loopholes that have been exploited by the, the arguments that have been made in favor of the Indian wrestler in Vinesh Fogart. I think because this is an unprecedented situation, because of those loopholes, maybe the arbitrator has been forced really hard to think as to what should be the right verdict. Also remember, Preeti, it's not going to be an easy one. It's not just about handing over a medal to an athlete. It's more about where does the sport of wrestling go from here. So whatever decision is taken, whether it's in favor of Vinesh or against her, will have grave repercussions on the sport of wrestling per se. So maybe some more deliberations are needed. We're still awaiting the details, whether more documents have been asked from both parties to be submitted. That's exactly what happened last time, where when the extension came, there was another extension for more documents to be submitted. But maybe what I can, if I can hazard a guess, maybe they need time to consult some more experts, and that one judge bench that you have at the moment is not 100% certain as to what should be the decision at the moment. All I can say from a macro point of view, that if you're an Indian fan hoping for some good news, this would in that sense indicate that you are heading towards a scenario where there could be good news, because to begin with the matter completely seemed in favor of the International Wrestling Federation, where they followed the rule to the T.
But Nikhil, because what one can't really understand is the last press release came in and set itself a deadline, saying that 9:30 p.m. by tonight we'd know whether the decision is in favor or against Vinesh Fogart. So clearly there's something which is going on way deeper than what we are actually witnessing right now. But the news break, Nikhil, you're saying we're yet to get in a word from the CAS. How do we know that this verdict has been deferred? Where is it coming from?
Well, I mean, I'm not at the liberty of revealing my source at the moment, yes. But what I can confirm is that it's been deferred. We're still waiting for the final word to come from the Indian Olympic Association and the Court of Arbitration for Sports. I'm hoping that is going to be out very soon.
All right, so we get an understanding. In midst of all of this, Nikhil, where is Vinesh Fogart? Because, the closing ceremony in the Olympics has happened. Our players are back. They are being celebrated. They are being honored. Where is Vinesh Fogart?
That's a question, Preeti, that I can't answer with great degree of certainty, because her whereabouts are not known to anybody, not even people close to her, not even a lot of her relatives back here in India, not the Indian Olympic Association, not even the Indian Wrestling Federation. Nobody seems to know where she is at the moment. What we did report here on India Today was the last time we saw her was checking out of the Games Village about 20 hours ago. She checked out of the Games Village. We did track a couple of flights that were coming in from Paris to India, and she wasn't on any of those flights. There is a possibility that she's decided to stay back, spend some time in a hotel alongside her husband, who's also there in Paris, and wait for the judgment. Or it is a possibility that she may be landing in India anytime, because more flights are expected to be landing in the next 10 to 12 hours.
Nikhil, I urge you to stay on with me. We're also joined right now by Jay Prakash. He's the Vice President, Wrestling Federation of India. Jay Prakash ji, What is it? आप ये क्या जो डिसीजन आया है कि डेफर्ड हो गया है, इसमें आपको लगता है होप है थोड़ी बहुत? क्योंकि एक बात तो तय है, जो जज है उनको बहुत सोचना पड़ रहा है.
मैडम, हमारी सबकी सांसें रुकी हुई थी. हमारी सांसें रुकी हुई थी कि कब फैसला आए, अच्छी न्यूज मिले. लेकिन वो पता नहीं ये क्या किस तरह से रोक रहे हैं, क्या कोई कमी है. तो इसलिए हमें बहुत दुख हो रहा है कि बहुत जल्दी इसका रिजल्ट आना चाहिए था. रिजल्ट के लिए सब लोग दुआएं कर रहे हैं, पूरा देश दुआ कर रहा है कि जब भी आए एक अच्छा रिजल्ट आए.
पर जयप्रकाश जी, आपको क्यों लगता है कि ये डेफर हो गया है, कि अभी जो भी डिसीजन है अभी नहीं आ रहा है, अब तो 16 अगस्त तक टाइम है, तब तक आएगा? कि ऐसा क्या है कि बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो सोचने को हैं अभी? क्योंकि पहले तो कहा जा रहा था कि ये रूल्स के ऊपर डिसाइड होगा, एक ओपन और शट केस है.
जी, रूल के ऊपर होगा. रूल के ऊपर तो होगा, लेकिन लोगों की ये दुआएं भी, ये भी लोग सोच रहे हैं कि भाई कोई अलग से हमें एक फैसला आ जाए, क्योंकि हमारे साथ बहुत अन्याय हुआ है, बहुत दुखी हैं हम सब लोग. तो कुछ इस तरह की सोच, कुछ दबाव, कुछ कहना उनको कि भाई समझाना, उसमें कोई ज्यादा देर का टाइम नहीं है. हो सकता है 16 तारीख को आ जाए, बाकी तो हम खुशी का दिन होगा हमारे लिए.
बने रहिए आप हमारे से. I just want to recap the latest news break that we are getting in, viewers. For all of us who'd been waiting, most of us with bated breath, a billion hearts, waiting whether or not there would be a silver lining to the storm that Vinesh Fogart had brewed in the Paris Olympics. Well, we'll have to wait on just a bit more, because what has really happened is rather unprecedented. For the third time now, there is a delay. There is a delay in Vinesh Fogart's verdict. We do not know yet where the CAS stands. The IOA till now hasn't released an official statement. Earlier on, what we were expecting is the IOA to hold a press conference at about 9:30 p.m. Shortly after the deadline expired of the CAS to deliver in favor or against Vinesh Fogart contesting for a joint silver at the Paris Olympics in wrestling 50 kilograms category. But right now, our sources tell us, and we can say, it's pretty clear that we will not hear the judgment by the CAS not before the 16th of August. The Court of Arbitrators for Sports has held on to the judgment. It's a single judge bench, and clearly a lot to deliberate about, because it's the third time the decision has been deferred. It's unprecedented. It's never quite happened before, because usually the CAS, the Court of Arbitration for Sports, is very quick to decide, because mostly it's on rules. And in this case, we've had top legals from India coming in, assisting the 4 pro bono lawyers appointed in France for Vinesh. And right now, what we can tell our viewers is very clear, that the verdict is deferred. We will not hear whether Vinesh Fogart has got herself that joint silver in Paris just yet. Where is Vinesh Fogart in all of this? Yesterday we had images of her finally, because the Olympic Village was closing in. The closing ceremony had happened. She was been locked inside her room there. She hasn't spoken to anyone, not in touch, as per our sources tell us, with the IOA or even extended family back home, not picking up her phone calls. We saw those visuals that you see on your television screen of her leaving the village when it was shut. She hasn't taken a flight back, what we've been given to understand, checked into a hotel with her husband, possibly hoping for a miracle as well, and coming back with that medal. But despite that also, you have Vinesh Fogart, who's written herself in sporting folklore, where India or even the wrestling world is concerned. What one is hoping is that she also writes herself into the records of history with this silver medal. Rahul Mehra, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court, with us. Rahul, surprised? Deferred yet again? Do you have any reasons why you think it could be deferred? Because we thought we had a deadline. Rahul, can you hear me? All right, I don't think Rahul Mehra can hear us, but once again, okay, we're going to try and get in touch with him. Rahul, can you hear me? All right, we don't have Rahul Mehra with us, but once again, to encapsulate the news break that we are getting in right now, Vinesh Fogart's verdict for a joint silver has been deferred by the Court of Arbitration for Sports, and now the new deadline is 16th of August. What has definitely happened is unprecedented. You can only venture a guess, and that's what we are doing, that there is way more to deliberate about where the judge is concerned. Rahul Mehra is finally back with us. Rahul, if you can hear me, we're a little stunned, because we thought we had a deadline to work with, 9:30 p.m. That hasn't quite happened. What do you think are the reasons for the delay and the verdict being deferred to the 16th of August?
Well, frankly, Preeti, this is baffling. I thought Tariq pe Tariq was one phrase which was used only in India, but I guess internationally as well. These are courts which usually are used to giving decisions within hours, not days. So I'm pretty surprised as to what is going on. But having said that, I think there could be only two things. Initially, I was thinking maybe it's a good thing that, she's taking her own time as an arbitrator, wants to understand the nuances, and since it's unprecedented, something like this, maybe, there are issues that she wants to get into, and which was good for Vinesh and which is good for India. But as it gets delayed, I don't know now what to make of it, because frankly, The other side of it could also have been that maybe during the Olympic Games they didn't want bad publicity or 1.4 billion people in case the decision wasn't in favor of Vinesh really venting it out on social media. So it was prudent that you do it post the Olympic Games, the closing ceremony, which is what probably they did and which is why today on 13th at 9:30 this was to be delivered. But going ahead from 13 to 16 just doesn't make any sense. So I just hope whatever it is and whatever is keeping the learned arbitrator from passing the final verdict, it is in favor of Vinesh and it is in favor of India. All I can hope is that.
All we can hope is that it is in favor of Vinesh, in favor of India. Norris Preetham, sports journalist, also joining us. Norris Preetham, a little shocked, stunned, because we were thinking that 9:30 p.m. at least finally we will know what the fate is in store of at least the joint silver medal of Vinesh Phogat. What do you think, Mr. Preetham, are the reasons for the delay?
Well, Preeti, I can't say that I'm shocked. I'm disappointed because I think I was expecting it that maybe Vinesh may not get verdict in our favor because the rules are very clear on that. But as an Indian, as a sports lover and somebody who has known Vinesh for over the years and have covered her World Championships, the Asian Games, the Olympic Games, I think I'm disappointed. I'm not shocked. And as Rahul said, even I was thinking that maybe it was just earlier the verdict was delayed for the closing ceremony to be over because no one would like to spoil their games. Now, I thought that the party is over, the guests have gone home. Maybe now they will do it. But as Rahul said, he is a legal eye and deferred. I don't know because I think the justice and the federations and the IOC, they all want to be very, very clear now that they don't want to set any precedent for future. So I don't know what our teams, Hari Salve and the French lawyers and Singhania, what line of argument they have taken. So maybe they want absolutely clarity on every issue or every doubt they've raised so that in future, this does not happen.
Well, Rahul, do you think, we're at a stage where at least, when you think from the heart, you're tempted to tear up the rule book. But having said that, because there has been no precedent and there is fear of setting a precedent, is the possible reason for this delay a lot to deliberate about? And if there is a decision in her favor, it possibly changes world wrestling forever.
In a way, if we are prejudging the decision, you could say that. But, I think it will be foolish to assume one way or the other as to what the verdict is going to be. But speculating, which is exactly what we are doing right now, I would tend to tread more carefully and tread towards the arguments which have been placed before the arbitrator, which is challenging the very basis of the rule. Whether what was the thought process and scientifically were there enough reasons for the United World Wrestling to change the decision from 2018 to 2020, subsequent to 2018, prior to which it was a one-day bout, or the entire thing would get concluded. It was just one day weigh-in. The change that came subsequently, and the change came in because primarily I think the UWW as an international body did not want the athlete health to be compromised in any which way. Now, this is a counterproductive argument from the International Federation, and I think this is where probably the learned arbitrator is slightly wanting more light to be thrown, because as you rightly said, this is going to completely change the face of world wrestling. Probably what is coming up in the mind of the arbitrator is that if health was the paramount consideration, then why have you done two contradictory things in the Olympics? Number one, why did you, have for the first day weigh-in 30 minutes of period given to the athlete, while on the second day, and we all know second day is more challenging, it is more telling on your health. It demands much more to cut weight on the second day because the body bounces back and fights it. So therefore, when you know empirical evidence is there, scientific evidence is there, that you would require slightly more period, you have reduced it by half. From 30 minutes on the second weigh-in, you reduce it to 15. So actually it defies logic, it defies science, it goes against the principles of reasonableness, and I think that's where the problem lies as to why is it that this decision was taken, and if taken, what were the paramount considerations, not only verbally but more empirically, with empirical evidence, with some scientific data. What is it that the international body had in mind? And if health was paramount consideration, then this completely defies every principle of the athlete protecting one's own health. Because if you're asking the athlete to cut 4 kgs, 2 kgs, 3 kgs overnight within 10 hours, not even giving them a window which is existing in the first weigh-in on the first day, I think it's absurd, it's illogical, and therefore it can be struck down.
You know, Norris Preetham, not to speculate and try and venture a guess on which way the verdict is leaning, but if it was such an open and shut case, and going by the rule book, which most of us thought would be the game, then why the continuous delay? This is the third time we've seen this delay.
I think I'll go back to what Rahul was saying, that maybe it's logical and what all you have, but before the games, at least 1 year before the games, there's several technical details, and all these issues are raised there, and nobody protested, including India. I don't know whether Indian delegate went to attend the meeting or not, but nobody challenged it. In fact, one of the coaches had been telling Indian Wrestling Federation to have this 2-day weighing-in ceremony in the national championship to accustom our athletes or our wrestlers for this day. So they have not done it. So I think what Rahul is saying and what others are saying, they might change the rule. I mean, I'm saying maybe for future games, but retrospective, I don't think benefit can be given to Vinesh. This is what Thomas Bach, the IOC president himself, a very noted lawyer, he has repeatedly said it, that retrospectively we cannot do anything. I mean, he has a sympathy with Vinesh, and who wouldn't have sympathy with Vinesh? But I think the rules may change, and obviously the rules committee of the World Wrestling Federation will sit and decide in the light of what has happened to Vinesh. They might change the rules,
right.
But
all right, Mr. Preetham, hold on with me. Just hold on with us. The reason I'm interrupting is because let's listen in to Vidushpat Singhania, who was one of the lawyers arguing for Vinesh Fogart in Paris with the CAS, speaking right now.
हैं कि सिल्वर आएगा नहीं आएगा और जाहिर है कि गर्व की भी बात भी होगी, लेकिन आप इस पूरे मामले को लगता है कि कोई वजह इसमें देख पा रहे हैं देरी की, या फिर लगता है कि ये प्रोटोकॉल है, एक प्रक्रिया है?
नहीं, अगर डिले हो रहा है तो आर्बिट्रेटर को टाइम चाहिए और इस मैटर को सोचने के लिए और डिसीजन देने के लिए, तो यही मेरे को लगता है यही वजह है इस बात की।
कितना बड़ा चैलेंज है ये पूरा केस, आपको क्या नजर आता है, क्योंकि भारत की निगाहें इस पर है?
नहीं, तो हम लोग तो ऐसे सेट कि हम लोग होप ही कर रहे हैं कि डिसीजन आए विनेश के फेवर में। हम लोग ने अपना बेस्ट दिया है, हरी साल्वे सर ने आर्ग्यू किया है मैटर पैनल के सामने, अब देखते हैं, अब तो वेट करने का टाइम है।
सर, आई एम वेरी सॉरी, क्योंकि ये लाइव थे हम अभी, मैं एक
All right, earlier on we were expecting a press conference by the lawyers, by the IOA. Right now, we haven't heard from the IOA. We haven't seen any press release coming in by the CAS, because earlier, viewers, how we would have known whether or not Vinesh has, the verdict for Vinesh has gone in favor or against her, it would have come in a crisp press release by the CAS, the Court of Arbitration for Sports. That hasn't happened. Our sources have confirmed to us, though, that the verdict is now being deferred till the 16th of August. Unprecedented, yes. A little baffled, all of us, on what really has gone down. We will shortly, I believe, hear from the lawyers, but right now everyone a tad bit shocked, or like disappointed as well, like with what Norris Preetham also said. But to bring you, Rahul Mehra, back into this conversation with what Mr. Preetham said, maybe are we actually now looking at, and befitting to her, that Vinesh Fogart becomes that textbook case which changes world wrestling but somewhere down the line, because there might not be retrospective game, she might lose out on that medal.
Definitely so, but just if you will allow me, Preeti, and I've been seeing this since morning, and various news channels have been misreporting on this. I want to clarify. Vidushpat is a very dear friend of mine, but Vidushpat is not the lawyer for Vinesh, and I think all of you have been running this since morning. 4 French lawyers are for Vinesh. Vidushpat and Hari Salve are lawyers for IOA and Indian Olympic
But Rahul, aren't they anyway fighting for Vinesh right now?
With the officially being the lawyers. That's a separate matter. We can debate as to how they came in and all of that, but at least we should factually not mislead people. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, fair point.
Now, coming back to your question, surely this will be unprecedented, and surely, Preeti, this is going to alter the way the rules are going to be, if not now, if not helping Vinesh in this particular instance. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind, going forward, this rule needs to be changed, and there will be better rules which will come in. So that's a given. Now the point is whether you treat this as retrospective. I don't treat it as retrospective as was being stated earlier. The way I look at it is, there is a rule, and a rule is only tested when the rule is supposed to be tested. You don't just test a rule without an occasion arising. And out here an occasion did arise, and the rule is now being tested. And in case the rule is stated to be arbitrary, whimsical, illogical, illegal, unreasonable, and all of that, then the Code of Arbitrator for Sports, the Code of Arbitration for Sports, is precisely for that purpose.
You know, I want to just
strike down the rules and regulations, if at all they are whimsical.
I want to bring in Nikhil
what
Naz.
IOC said, and what Mr.
Okay, allow me to bring in Nikhil Naz very quickly before I wrap up this bulletin. Nikhil, any more news coming in from your sources, because we are yet to hear from the IOA or the CAS?
No, we've now got an official confirmation. The Court of Arbitration for Sports, they've sent out a release, but there's just a one-word release. I'll quickly read that out to you, saying that, by application of Article 18 of the CAS arbitration rules for Olympic Games, the president of the CAS ad hoc division extends the time limit for the panel to give a decision until 16th August, 6 p.m. Paris time. That's the only release that we've got, and we've got another release from the Indian Olympic Association, where they've said that the press conference that was scheduled to be held with P.T. Usha, the president of the Indian Olympic Association, as well as Hari Salve, that stands cancelled. Obviously, they will now speak on the 16th after the verdict is out.
You know, I appreciate all you gentlemen for joining us. Thank you there. We have a new date now, and that is 9:30 p.m. India Standard Time, the 16th of August, in 3 days from now, when we will know the verdict for Vinesh Fogart. One thing is clear, viewers, and what we've said earlier, she's written herself into sporting folklore. Will she also write herself into history records? Because strangely and sadly, history does remember records while the stories and the folklore continues. And the other thing, Vinesh Fogart is destiny's child. We can all bask in that glory and still keep our fingers crossed, hoping she gets that joint silver. Thank you for joining us.